Okay, we're going to take a quick look at MobileLot's invoicing system. So let's go ahead and get logged in. And from the hamburger menu in the upper left, we'll tap that, go to Invoicing. And you'll see we have a number of invoices here in this demo account. You'll notice the ones on the bottom have a green icon with a dollar sign. That means those are already paid. The ones in the orange have a closed folder icon, which means those invoices are closed and no further vehicle services can be added to them. Now, if we're out at the lot and we want to get started processing this dealer and open a new invoice, we can click tap the plus icon, and that would create a new invoice for us. And we could add services to that. I'm going to go ahead and close that because there's another way. You can't really count on sometimes a field rep to open an invoice before they just get gung-ho and get started. So the other way is we'll go ahead and double tap to open a vehicle that we're going to provide services for. We'll do the hamburger menu again, go to services provided, and then it's going to let us know there's not an open invoice to add services to. So we'll go ahead and tell it yes, we'd like to open a new invoice. This is a new vehicle. For this example, we'll go ahead and say we only did new vehicle photos. Now all these items here in this list, those can be added by you. They're completely customizable. There are none in there by default, so you add them as you see fit. Another thing is you can assign line items that are your choices here to specific dealers. That way your list is not full of line items for every single dealer. So let's say that's all we're going to do. We'll go ahead and do back. And we'll pretend we're done with this vehicle. We're moving on to the next one. So we'll exit that vehicle. And you'll notice here, next to this vehicle, you see a dollar sign next over on the right, lower right. There's a tag, there's a dollar, and then there's a dollar sign. The dollar sign means services have been added to it. We'll go ahead and double tap the next one in the list. We'll say we're going to go add services to that. We'll pretend this is a new vehicle pre-book. We'll tap that, and that's the only service we provided for that dealer. We'll get out of there, and we'll just do one more. Let's go ahead and do this red Jeep. Services provided, and whatever, we'll just do new vehicle photos again. So that's pretty straightforward and simple. Easy for your field techs to be, billing for the services they provide for a vehicle. We'll go ahead and go to the hamburger menu again, invoicing. And we'll see we do have an open invoice here, the blue icon with the open folder. So notice beneath due on receipt and the balance of $33, we see 3 services have been provided for 3 vehicles. If you provided multiple services for a vehicle, then that number would be different. Another thing you can do, click the ellipsis menu here. At the very bottom, you'll see there's also add non-vehicle invoice items. That's something that, as it sounds, is not related to a vehicle, but it is something that needs to be added to an invoice. So go ahead and tap on that. Now, you can customize these. You may or may not use this particular feature. It could be a number of different things. In this case, we have some back-end fees. So maybe we bill them once a month for back-end fees. Maybe every 2 weeks in invoices, we add a bi-weekly fee to it. So we'll just do that for the sake of example, a bi-weekly back-end fee. We'll click back. And you'll notice now the balance is 108. And we have 1 non-vehicle item next to 3 services, 3 vehicles, 1 non-vehicle item. Let's pretend we're done with this lot. So we'll go ahead and if we are done, we'll tap on commit and close invoice. And we'll say yes. Now that's closed and no more services can be added to it. At that point, we can go to the ellipsis menu again. If we wanted to record the signature of an authorized party at the dealer. In this case, it remember Joe Sample is what name we typed in last time. Now, then we can capture a signature for it. So in the real world, you'll want to rotate your phone to get the full size signature pad, but for the sake of this example, we'll just scribble a signature in there in portrait mode and click save. You can do clear if you happen to make a mistake. So you'll notice now it says signed by Joe Sample. If we do the ellipsis again, we can print that invoice. Now, when it comes to printing invoices, adding invoices to the print queue, or emailing invoices, that's all built in here. There are a number of different choices you can do. You can do the invoice and detail report, which we'll do right now. We'll just take a look at that. And you'll notice the signature from authorized signature Joe Sample is in there. You'll notice that we have the line items and how many vehicles we did for each one of those SKUs. Our totals, our typical invoice. And then we'll go on to the vehicle detail, which shows in sideways mode what VINs, what date we provided service, what stock number, a short description of the vehicle, and what SKUs or services we provided for that vehicle. So that's good for dealer billing, and that way they can if they wanted to bill out certain vehicles for a certain cost, they can do that. We can also print and do the invoice only. That's pretty self-explanatory, but we'll take a look. And then we can go to print. If we wanted to do the detail report only, we could do that. And then lastly, sometimes people want to be able to read on their screen the detail report, and it's difficult to do it in landscape mode. So you can do portrait mode, take a look at that, and then that makes more sense. You could print that out and or just look at it and inspect your work and make sure you build for everything. Other than that, you can also add to the print queue, just like everything else, stickers, reports, all those things. Let's go ahead and get rid of this one from the last demo. And additionally, you can email it to the dealer or to your home office if you wanted to, if they're keeping track of, if they require you to email that every time you close out an invoice. So other than that, that's pretty much it for invoicing, I believe. One last thing I do want to show, let's do a new invoice. If you try to print an invoice, email an invoice, or add it to the print queue when it's still open, let's take a look at that. Just so you don't make a mistake, it'll say draft up there. So that may be useful if you're just needing to print off real quick to double check your work when you're midstream at the lot. But just know that it says draft if the invoice is not closed. Additionally, the invoices will only show if you enter the rep's name in settings. It'll only show their invoices or invoices that are not assigned to a rep. So that's handy. It keeps individual reps from snooping around on other reps' work. And the last thing I'll say is if they are logged in as an employee, certain functions are not available to them. For example, they cannot delete an invoice if you're logged in as an employee. So we'll go ahead and delete this invoice that we just entered here. And that's pretty much it. If you have questions, give me a call, Ken Rucker, WalkTheLot.com, 800-615-9981, 800-615-9981, and have a great day. Thanks.